So what do you do when you can't find a chicken plucker and you got a bunch of chickens to pluck? I don't know. Maybe we'll make our own. So I found this. Free. Runs, but it leaks. Parts or scrap. You know, I just picked this up. I haven't even tried it yet. We're going to give it a try now. This is what we have from the washing machine that we're going to use. We got the inside tub in the base, half horsepower motor, the shaft, and the motor mount. We may use the outside case. I haven't decided yet, but we have some parts we got to buy to put this all together, and I'll explain all that later. We've gone ahead and cleared some space in the garage for this project. Here are the parts from the washing machine that I'm keeping. Here's the parts I've received so far that I've ordered. I got a little 2-inch pulley that's going to go on the motor. I've got a 12-inch pulley that's going to go on that shaft to spin the plate with all the fingers on it. I've got 2 bearings that the shaft is going to be mounted in through, and then this white bag has 150 of these rubber chicken plucker fingers, which we'll be using on our chicken plucker build. So what we're going to do next is inside this, you'll see this piece here sticks way out. So we got to get this drum off so we can get that piece out, and we're going to put this drum back on. And because it is a washing machine, it's set up to bounce all around, so we got to build a frame to stiffen that up, and also a place to put the bearing underneath to hold the shaft. So we're going to get going with that. There's 2, and I'm assuming the 3rd one will be a lot easier. There it is, it's off. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is probably cut this off. Okay, I set this back inside. I marked it where I want to cut it. I got my cutoff wheel. I'm going to go ahead and cut that now. Alright, so next we'll just take a file, we'll smooth that out before we use it and put it back in there. So that's that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this plate off. The end of this is all now smooth, it's filed down, it's not sharp anymore. We went ahead and took that bottom plate off. And I line everything back up. Sorry. So that's going to go in the center hole. I'm lining these up with these tabs here. So let's go ahead and put that in right through the center. Goes down in there. These line up with these tabs. When you look inside, you'll now see it's flush with this rubber gasket here. So hopefully that keeps water from going down in there. So now we've got these lined up, and these clips were holding these on. I'm going to put these back on because I kind of like them. Get that started in there, and we'll drive it in with our driver. That's it. We got 2 more of them to do. Screws anyway, so they'll just go in. Make sure that stays in that hole. Okay, so that's going to hold that in. Alright, the next step is we're connecting this base to that piece that we put on the tub. So what I've done, I've drilled holes and I'm putting screws in. I've got 1 more hole to drill on this side, and then we'll go ahead and put the screw in. one more hole to drill over here, and we'll put the screw in. So all I do is I take my auto punch, and where I want the hole. And take our driver and bring it home. Our aluminum plate is in. It is, I ordered a 22 inch by 22 inch. It is 0.190 inch thick. It's 5052 H32 aluminum sheet. I ordered it from Midwest Steel and Aluminum. It was a lot cheaper than buying the disc already cut out and the holes drilled, so I'm going to go ahead and drill it myself. Okay, first thing we do is we find the center, which is right there. You can see I've already hit it with the auto punch, just right there. And then that way we can drill a hole in the center. So why don't we go ahead and do that now. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put a bolt through it. Put a bolt through the hole we just drilled. So now that we have the bolt in, what we have is this, just this clamp material, this strapping. It comes in a roll, it's got holes in it. We're going to set one end over there. We're going to cut a piece that's just a little bit longer than we need it to be, like that. So if we put our marker in that hole, that one that's 10 inches, we can spin it around and make a circle. And all we got to do is get our jigsaw and cut on that circle. Now what we're going to have to do after that is we have to make more marks, because we want approximately every 3 inches for them rubber fingers. So if we go from there, 1, 2, 3. Folks, I realize this is the recycle, repurpose, reuse, homestead type channel, but one of the things I don't like to skimp on is my tools. I bought this Bosch jigsaw over 20 years ago, and yes, I paid a lot for it then, but it has worked flawlessly ever since. It's been used a lot. So, I mean, I like good tools, so that's why I have this jigsaw. And there we have it. There's our circle. So now we got to drill them. We got to mark it out for the holes, for the fingers, and then we got to drill out those. We now have our plate marked, and we've actually drilled a couple holes we tried putting a finger in. So what I've done is my lines through the middle are 2.5 inches apart. On the outside, the fingers are going to be 3 inches apart. And then for the next row, what I did was I drew a straight line towards the center and just marked where they were. And then the next line in, they're 2.5 inches apart, and the final line, they're 2 inches apart. Then I took my auto punch, as you can see, and for each one, I put a little ding there, and now we're going to drill the holes. So the final hole is 3/4 inch, so we're going to go ahead and first we drill a pilot hole, and then we drill the 3/4 inch holes. So we're going to show you that process. So once again, we're just going to drill a pilot hole. And once a pilot hole's drilled, then we're going to drill our 3/4 inch hole for the finger to fit. Now after the hole's drilled, since the edges are a bit rough, I've got this wire brush on another drill. We're just going to go ahead and that just softens it up a little bit, so we'll be able to get the fingers in. So that's it. Now we only have about 55 more holes to drill. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do all the pilot holes and then I'll do the big holes. This is going to take a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, so there we go. There's all the pilot holes. Now we just got to drill the 3/4 inch holes. All right, folks, so now we're going to do the 3/4 inch holes. A little bit of safety. These little shards are sharp. You probably missed it. I sliced my thumb, so now I'm wearing gloves because, you know, we got a bit of a brain here. Sometimes it don't always work. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and drill the 3/4 inch holes. You may have noticed I drilled a couple of them, not quite on the lines. I drilled 3 holes here. What that's for is we're going to have the fingers going out the bottom, and then as it spins, because down on the bottom of the drum we're going to have an opening, and that the feathers in the water, that'll just push it out there into a bucket that we'll have underneath it. All right, so now, without further ado, we're going to drill our 3/4 inch holes. Decided not to use a battery drill since we have this nice 1/2 inch DeWalt drill. We're going to use this one. Oh, we're going to go on a bit slower. There we go. And here we go. All right, that is it. The holes are drilled. Now we just got to buff them to get all this sharp stuff off. For that, we're using our battery drill. And there we have it. We are ready to put fingers in the plate. So there you go. It's not that difficult to do. It is time consuming. It is a pain in the butt. I'm soaked in sweat, but it's ready to go. So that's ready to put fingers in. We still have to, we're going to wind up seeing how this works. This is going to go inside this drum like this. It's going to have the fingers in it. That's going to spin. On the side of the drum, there's going to be more fingers sticking through, and as this spins, it bounces the chickie around into the other fingers. The drum doesn't spin, just that plate. So we built a frame on the bottom of it out of wood, as you can see. Frame there. We went up a little bit with another frame there. We've mounted these bearings on the bottom for the shaft to be in. And there's a pulley right there. This there's another bearing right there. So the shaft goes through there, up into the tub. The bearings are held there. The shaft is held by the bearings. We have the pulley, which is going to turn the shaft. Okay? Inside is the round plate that goes through the bearings, and that's going to spin. When the motor spins that pulley, that'll spin. The fingers are going to be in this plate, and that'll help to pluck the bird, and then there'll be more fingers in the drum like that. So we've drilled all the holes in the drum, and you can see how the little fingers are going to be sitting in there. They just pull through. We'll show that later. The shaft, I had this piece welded onto it. I'll show you that from the other side. And I've got the motor mounted. This is the motor from the washing machine, and I used the mount from the washing machine. It just, this metal plate and it's got these straps here, and that's what holds it on. What I did was I added some wood uprights there. I put a piece of wood across. I braced it up pretty good because this angle, so I braced it here. I actually, behind this piece of plywood, I have some lag bolts going into this piece of 2x6 to hold that on nice and secure. There we go, that's better. And it's just mounted on there on wood like that. So we have our pulley here on the motor. We have our pulley down there. What I've done is I went and I got a link belt so you can adjust the belt, and I put it on between the motor and that pulley down there. I've tightened all my set screws onto the shafts, like the one down there and like the bearing here and the bearing down in there. So I've tightened all the set screws. I've got the belt on. So now what we'll do, we'll plug it into the washing machine, which right now is just a shell. It's an empty shell. I just want this to work on the washing machine. And I got the controls right here to use. So let's go ahead and plug it in. All right, we just tip it back up like that. And then we're going to hook the connector up to the motor where it was. And then we'll just plug her in. Like so. Like that. So now, when we put it on spin and we pull the knob, she should start turning. And there it is. It works. We just hit the knob again, and she shuts down. So now what we got to do, we just put all the fingers in, and then we're ready. Now we got all these holes, we got to put rubber fingers in. So we got a bunch of rubber fingers, and basically it's just a matter of putting them in the hole and then pulling them through. They are easier if we put a little bit of oil on it, so I think we're going to go ahead and do that because they'll go in a lot easier. But that's all you do. Now, because we're going to be doing chicken, this will be food, we're using a little bit of vegetable oil, put it on a Q-tip, go around the finger a little bit with it. See how much of a difference that makes. Put it in there. It's a little bit. So we got a whole bunch more to do. The easy way would be to have a helper grease them up for you. Matter of fact, I think what I'll do, I'll grease up a few, these three, put them in. I'm sure y'all don't want to watch me put all these fingers in, so the last few I'll come back. So there it is. Everything is ready, other than putting the case over. That's just for looks, honestly. It really doesn't need to be there. So all we do, we come over here, we have it on spin, we pull that up, and spin she does. You just throw your chickie in there, and you're good to go. They get plucked. And that's all there is to it. It works awesome. Yeah, so you can make a chicken plucker out of a washing machine. Who knew? I did. So there we go. I don't know if this is the final design or not. We're going to test it out this weekend. We do have a volunteer chicken, so we're going to throw him in this weekend. So folks, that's it. That is the chicken plucker. Done. So it's ready to be used. Couple little more tweaks on it probably, but we're going to be trying it out this Saturday, and we'll do a video of that too. So there you go. Any questions, comments? Put them in the comments. Tell me how stupid I am for making a plucker out of a washing machine. Let me know. Let me know what you'd have done different. Let me know if you like the idea. Whatever. Just let us know. So subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell. Tell your friends and family about us. And as always, God bless.